Hey everyone, this is AHofmann from FBinsure. I'm here with Stephanie Rogers. Hey Stephanie.
Hello.
We wanted to just kind of have a conversation a little bit about where we are now in the industry. I've been in the business for 20 years. I worked at an insurance company for a brief period of time, and I owned my own insurance agency. And I've never been through a situation like this that requires the kind of flexibility from a carrier standpoint, from our own personal lives and as a business. So Stephanie, I'd love you to talk a little bit about who you are, how long you've been in the industry, and what the situation is like for you.
Yeah, so I've actually been in the industry now 7 years. I actually started as a receptionist of our agency and transitioned into the commercial lines department. And this is 100%, like for most people, this is a first for me. I've never experienced anything like this. And to be honest, to be real, it's a scary time for everyone.
Yeah.
But I am seeing, the flexibility from the carrier standpoint, as far as, billing is concerned, holding cancellations. I think that they're truly trying to accommodate for their clients. So I think that is, really something to be said. But again, scary time for everybody. So,
yeah,
but we're all going to get through this together.
I agree. And that's something that I've been trying to say as much as I can throughout all this. And I'm glad you said that, because a lot of people kind of want to skirt around the fact that this is scary for everyone. For business owners, absolutely. For employees, yes. For parents and kids, and everyone's in a situation they've never been in. So flexibility is a big part of it. And you're right. The carriers are being flexible with billing, with response time, all the things. And to be honest, clients and prospects alike are super flexible. They're understanding that we're all navigating this crazy fluid time in real time as it changes. As far as flexibility, so we started this call. I'm in my home office. My daughter is doing her soccer club training in the garage below me. So I don't even know if everyone can hear the soccer ball bouncing. But from a flexibility standpoint, what are you doing and how are you changing your workflow so that you're able to help clients and prospects while you're at home? I have 5 kids. They're all doing distance learning. I know you have kids as well. What is that like for you?
So, I have 2 little boys, 5 and 7. So it's definitely a different routine that I'm used to for my regular work day. I used to be able to finish a cup of coffee, while I'm at work, and I can't really do that anymore. But, trying to have a schedule of their schedule as far as distance learning. I've actually incorporated yoga into every single day for them, just for mental clarity. That's been important for me too. But, just being there, being real, being in the moment, and trying to be as flexible myself as I can. It's definitely a different perspective in life right now that we have. It's something. Right now they're playing video games because I said to them, hey, I got to do some work. I need you guys to stay in here for like 30 minutes, okay? And playing video games is huge for them. So
and that's it. And I think that I asked the question because it's strange to be on this side of a business where we're out talking to new people all the time, and we're communicating with our clients and our coworkers and colleagues and all this. And now we're in our home office, and our coworkers and colleagues are our kids and our pets and all this. And it's different. But it comes back to that, clarity. That's a word you use, like trying to find clarity in the moment. And I do think clarity and flexibility are what I'm seeing a lot of from clients and from carriers. And you mentioned that earlier. We're dealing a lot with client questions day in and day out, and a lot are coverage based. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the flexibility that at least I'm seeing. I know you are as well, Stephanie, from the carriers. You mentioned flexibility with premium. What are some ways in a reactive situation like this? At FBinsure, we often talk about being proactive, having a plan so that you can implement that plan, so that you convey your message, that you get the best rates, and you can reduce your risk as efficiently as possible. A situation like this forces a lot of businesses to be reactive. So how are some ways that clients can be proactive in taking advantage of, that was the wrong word, using the opportunities of the carriers being flexible so that they can help themselves through this kind of loss of revenue, cash flow issues? Can you talk about that?
Well, I think a really good starting point is looking at your cash flow. So the basis of rating. Are you seeing or do you expect to see maybe a decrease in your revenues? Maybe that can help by decreasing it right now.
Right.
Obviously, this is going to be audited, but you know what? That's going to help you right now. It's going to help with the monthly installments, offering some of that premium relief. Looking at your payroll, what's your payroll looking like right now? Are you expecting a decrease? Maybe it's a good time maybe to reduce that. What about your fleet? Instead of, canceling all your registrations, let's lower the limits of liability if you're forced to be, if your fleet is forced to be grounded.
Right.
Let's lower those limits of liability, increase the collision deductibles. So those are just like some strategies that you can use now in the moment, being proactive. I think that that's what we're trying to do for our clients. And I think that that's some, really positive things that we are offering to our clients. And we want other people to be able to utilize that as well.
Yeah, no, those are great points. And I love the discussion about fleet management. I know that we're getting calls from clients who talk about, I'm not going to be using these 5 trucks. Let's take them off the road. Our job as risk advisors is in a situation like this, a crisis like this, a pandemic like this, our job is to help our clients the best we can, using all those proactive methods you talked about, helping to reduce the premium basis, helping to find some relief and flexibility there, and helping to kind of steer that. But it's also our job to continue to protect them, because a really uncomfortable situation that we don't want our clients to find themselves in is having a cash flow problem or situation and trying to alleviate that by drastically slashing coverage left and right, and then being in a position where they're self-insured, meaning there's no coverage, and a claim arises from that uncovered loss, and now it's catastrophic. So I love the suggestions of maybe change some of the limits there. And when you do that, make sure you're doing that with a plan to get those limits back to where they should be, right? So when we get through this all together and we're back to running, let's make sure there's some proactive steps to say, whether it's your insurance broker or it's someone on your team as a business owner, hey, I need to get that coverage back in place. And I know that that's something we would do for our clients, is we would set our reminders, and our whole team of support staff would make sure that coverage didn't stay that way forever. We'd make sure we got you back there. Mm-hmm. So I want to just talk quickly, because I don't want to spend this ton of time here on the video. I just wanted to have a conversation between 2 risk advisors. I do want to say that right now, business have been forced to be reactive. And like I just talked about, having ways to manage that and be proactive when you're forced into a reactive state. I also think moving forward, businesses need to understand the value of taking control of their risk, taking control of their program. And Stephanie, I'd love you to interject a little bit, but what we do as risk advisors is help identify risk so that businesses can plan how to implement a reduction of that risk, whether it's transfer or mitigate or assume all the ways you can handle risk. And in your experience, you're 7 years in the industry, how do you see a proactive plan like that, starting from a point we are now, helping business owners, really take control of their program to really drive that premium down and be more proactive?
Well, I think that, there are some, insurance carriers are constantly, putting out those commercials, save 15%, save this, save that. And instead of looking at your insurance program as a reactive, okay, I have a claim, just let's put it through insurance, let's be proactive in that. That's what's going to help to control your premium in the future. By having those proactive strategies in place, by having the proper work comp programs in place. Do you have back to work programs set in place? Because you know what? Obviously, the more that the carriers are paying out on these workers' comp claims, obviously your premium is going to be impacted on it. Right. So those return to work programs are huge in limiting how much the carriers are paying out. So there are so many different strategies that we could use, and I don't think that, unfortunately, a lot of businesses just really aren't aware of it, how they can actually take control of their programs instead of just, here's our policy, here, it's going to take care of us for right now.
Right.
In the end, you're going to end up paying more for it. So being
Right.
proactive in the moment, setting up for the future, that's one of the best things that we're doing for our clients.
Absolutely. Agree 100%. It's part of the way the insurance process has always worked, that business owners think it's the traditional way where our job is to place a policy, and our job, that's just one tiny part of our job, is to place an insurance policy. So you nailed that. You mentioned yoga for your kids and for yourself. I would love to end this conversation with a non-insurance little bit of moment of positivity. I truly believe right now, it's important for us to all build a community of resources across all professions and as human beings. And to me, one of those resources is ways to distract ourselves when we're stuck in our houses, and I'm grateful for, and I'm blessed to be able to have my family around me and space in my home. One of the things that I'm spending a lot of time doing to distract myself is Instagram Live and Facebook Live. A lot of cool artists putting content out that you would never have access to before. They're just playing their acoustic guitar, playing their piano, whatever. Any tips, any resources that you could give someone that might be looking for some mental clarity through all this craziness?
I've always loved cooking. That's always been one of my ways to just be by myself in the kitchen. I love cooking. I love looking up new recipes, new ways of doing things. And I've started trying to incorporate my children into
Oh, that's so good.
So not only does, they see what they're making, they're proud of it when we actually all go down to eat dinner, but I'm teaching them life lessons, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't want them to lose sight of that because their days are kind of off. So at the end of the day, the schedule, the routine that we're trying to make, at the end of the day, it's like, okay, let's cook dinner together instead of, just me and dad just cooking dinner.
I love it. And it's
a family thing to do.
It's like a mini celebration at the end of every day.
Yes.
We got through it. We did it.
Exactly.
Well, thanks, Stephanie. I hope everyone got some information out of our conversation, and we'll put links in all our posts about where to reach us. And if anyone has any questions, I'll put words in your mouth because I know you well enough to know this is the case. If anybody has any questions at all about insurance, about what we're seeing from other businesses, about any of the resources we have, about Stephanie's recipes, anything at all, please reach out to us. We're happy to help, and we hope you have a great day. Stay healthy and stay safe. Thank you so much.